Hey folks, welcome back to yet another episode of Yash the World's Book Club. The book we are reviewing today is Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty. See you on the other side. So Shetty grew up in a family whereby you could be either of the three: a doctor, a lawyer, or a failure. His family was convinced that he had chosen the third option. Instead of attending his college, he went to India in an ashram to become a monk. He stayed there for 3 years and pretty much meditating for 4 to 8 hours every day. This is the story of his experiences, and let's dwell into that. So first he talks about identity. I am what I think I am. But our identity, we feel, is tied up in what we think others think about us. We need space, silence, and stillness for self-awareness. There are 3 suggestions he gives. On a daily basis, self-reflect at the end of the day. On a monthly basis, try to visit a place you have never been before. And the third thing is, get involved in doing something meaningful. Once you filter out the OEOs, which is opinions, expectations, and obligations, you will see the world in a different way. Then he talks about negativity. We have 3 core emotional needs: peace, love, and understanding. Negativity often springs if there is a threat to any one of these 3. It is contagious. Dalai Lama had quoted, "If you can, help others. If you cannot do that, at least do not harm them." This is something pretty much similar to what the Hippocrates said in his oath for medical students, which is primum non mocere. First, do no harm. Then I'll just quote this. In English, we have the words empathy and compassion to express our ability to feel the pain that others suffer, but we don't have a word for experiencing vicarious joy. Joy on behalf of other people. Perhaps this is a sign that we all need to work on it. Mudita is the principle of taking sympathetic or unselfish joy in the good fortune of others. If I only find joy in my own successes, I am limiting my joy. But if I can take pleasure in the successes of my friends and family, 10, 20, 50 people, I get to experience 50 times the happiness and joy. Who doesn't want that? There are a limited number of colleges worth attending, a limited number of good jobs available, a limited number of people who get lucky. In such a finite world, there's only so much success and happiness to go around, and whenever other people experience them, your chances of doing so decreases. That's the thought. But monks believe that when it comes to happiness and joy, there is always a seat with your name on it. In other words, you don't need to worry about someone taking your place. We think freedom is pursuing desires. Real freedom is letting go of things not wanted. Fear. The cause of fear is attachment. The cure, detachment. Clinging on to temporary things gives them power over us, and they become sources of pain and fear. But when we accept the temporary nature of everything in our lives, we can feel gratitude for the good fortune of getting to borrow them for a time. The author then talks about intention. There are 4 fundamental motivations: fear, desire, duty, love. So let's talk about desire or success. I want $1 million home. I want financial freedom. I want an amazing wedding. When I ask people to write down their goals, they often give answers describing what most people think of as success. We think that success equals happiness, but this idea is an illusion. The Sanskrit word to it is Maya, which means believing in that which is not. When we let achievements and acquisitions determine our course, we are living in the illusion that happiness comes from external measures of success. But all too often, we find that when we finally get what we want, when we find success, it doesn't lead to happiness. Jim Carrey, He's saying, I think everybody should get rich and famous and do everything they ever dreamed of so they can see that it's not the answer. Material gratification is external, but happiness is internal. When monks talk about happiness, they tell the story of the musk deer, a tale derived from a poem by Kabir, a 15th century Indian mystic and poet. The musk deer picks up an irresistible scent in the forest and chases it, searching for the source, not realizing that the scent comes from its own pores. It spends its whole life wandering fruitlessly. In the same way, we search for happiness, finding it elusive when it can be found within us. Then the other two things, duty and love. If fear limits us and success doesn't satisfy us, then you have probably already guessed that duty and love have more to offer. We all have different goals, but we all want the same thing, a life full of joy and meaning. Monks don't seek out the joy part. We aren't looking for happiness or pleasure. Instead, we focus on the satisfaction that comes from living a meaningful life. Then the author talks about meditation. When you align with your breath, you align with yourself. Through every emotion, calming, centering, and de-stressing yourself. So there was this monk who was in this river, and there was a scorpion who was going to sink. So this monk helped the scorpion out so that he could save his life. In return, the scorpion stings the monk. And the fellow monk asked him, you know that his nature is to sting. Why did you go ahead and help him? And the monk replied, but my nature is to help. I can't see someone dying. So much to learn from this small tale. Then Jay talks about routine. Every morning follow time. T, thankfulness. I, insight. M, meditation. And E, exercise. Remove challenges and simplify your decision throughout the day to reserve your energy for more important things. That's what people like Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg do. They wear the same kind of clothes whenever you see them because that helps save them time. Location has energy and time has memory. Every location has a specific energy, and your dharma thrives or falters in that environment. Doing something at the same time every day helps us remember to do it, commit to do it, and do it with ease. If you do something at the same time every day, it becomes easier and natural. And if you do something in the same space every day, it becomes easier and natural. I would stop here for making this part 1 of Think Like a Monk. I'll continue next week for the part 2. Thank you. See you next week.